Hey, man.
What's up?
Have you ever heard of...
Why'd you stop? You just went,
It's a dramatic event.
oh, God. Okay. Have I ever heard of...
Cinema secret.
Did you say cinema secret?
Yeah.
Cinnamon secret? Cinnamon
Cinnabon
secret sounds like what we would call our... I was waiting for you to notice. I chugged your water. You got up to go to the bathroom and I just chugged it. Here we go. Wait. The things I learned last night. Tilling it. I pulled a Todd and I chugged your water.
Speaking of pulling a Todd, should we tell people about that?
Well, I'm just
cool
telling people
mugs.
about Todd, is that we have a friend that anytime we go out to dinner, or anytime there's a group of people, we'll just be sitting there, he'll finish his water, and then he'll subtly switch his empty water glass with your water glass, and then he'll drink that, and then eventually glasses
every glass on the table is empty. It's incredible.
And you just didn't even know.
And you have no idea. It's really... He's good at it.
I don't even think... Does he do that as a prank, or does he just do it
it's
like...
a prank. It's
Oh,
a
okay,
prank.
good. Like,
Because it
it's-
hurts him. Like, it physically hurts him because he drinks... he'll drink like 9 glasses of water in about
Why
3
does he
minutes.
do that?
Like, it's physically painful. Like,
so
it's so funny. Like, and he's so good at it. It's incredible.
I like him. I miss him.
Me too. But anyways, speaking of Todd, have you ever heard of Black Todd Island?
Is it really called Black Todd Island?
It's actually called Black Tom, but it was like
Oh,
close enough where, like, you know.
Transition was there. Black Tom Island?
Yeah.
Nope.
Well, let's try this. Have you ever heard of the Black Tom explosion?
I like the way your face moved when you said that. You went, let's try this. Have you ever heard of the Black Tom explosion? Nope.
Oh.
Black Tom explosion. Black Tom Island. Black Tom Island almost sounds like a margarita bar. Just come on down to Black. I hope that's not extremely offensive to like what we're about to talk about. If a bunch of people died in some explosion and I'm like, it sounds like a margarita bar. They have chips and queso. Oh no. Okay, anyway. What is you're like, well, on this date 4,000 people died in an explosion. Is it offensive? Am I the worst?
Sorta.
Oh, good. Man.
Well, okay, so the Black Tom explosion
Uh-huh.
happened on Black Tom Island, which was...
On Black Tom Friday. I thought you were about to say that.
So Black Tom Island is this island off of Jersey City, right, which is obviously off of New York City.
Oh, okay.
And
I thought you were going to go Jersey City, which is a store in the mall.
Jersey City, which is off of that show.
The
Jersey
food
Shore.
court has Black Tom Island, the margarita bar, right next to Jersey City, which is next to Foot Locker. And
It's all stores in the mall. No, it was an island off the Jersey Shore, Jersey
Shore.
City in whatever river it was there. I don't think that's the Hudson on that side. Is it Hudson on both sides of Manhattan?
Nope.
What's it on the other side? That's not the
I don't
Hudson side.
I don't know, dude. I'm not the one who teaches in this podcast.
Whatever that island, whatever that river's called.
Okay.
There was this rock formation that they called the Black Tom Rock,
Okay.
and that was in the 1800s because it was this thing, and when the water levels were low enough, you could bottom out on this rock in the river. They called it Black Tom Rock. And at some points,
okay.
at some like times of the year, it would actually peek out over the water, and it looked like a tomcat, and it was like this big black rock. And so they're like, Black Tom Rock.
Yeah.
And in about
It's a very primitive way of naming it.
Yeah, very
Black Tom Rock.
Hey, over there, it's a rock and it's black and it looks like a tomcat. We'll call it Ellis Island.
Okay.
Everyone's like, that makes sense. Cool. No, but then in the 1880s, this rock was a convenient place for a local shipyard to just dump all their trash. They were just like, let's just put it all over there. And they did this.
On the rock?
On that rock.
Because eventually it'll wash away.
I don't know what the idea was there. They just thought it was a good place to just dump everything.
Good.
Eventually, it grew enough of a landfill where it just became an island. And they're like,
oh, good.
Yeah, now that all that trash is land. And so
now it's just Trash Island.
Trash Island. So then they were like, well, we can't call it Black Tom Rock anymore. So they started calling it Black Tom
Trash Island.
Trash Island was the less popular sequel to Treasure Island.
Yep, that's what I was just thinking. I was trying to figure out how to work it in. Okay, so now it's Black Tom Island.
Yeah, now it's Black Tom Island.
There's enough trash that it's an island.
There's enough trash that's an island, but they just keep dumping trash on this island. They're like, and it just keeps growing. It just keeps
dumping trash
bigger.
on an island, a lot like this new show on CBS. Bad.
I love that.
Though. Which obviously right now. Oh, if we wrap this up in the next 13 minutes, we can catch Big Brother tonight. Actually, no, we got an hour and 15.
There you go.
It doesn't start till 8.
So
we're big Brother fans. I hate that sentence. I am. Are you
Big
caught
Brotherians.
up?
I think
this is now a chair review podcast as well as a Big Brother Fanatics podcast.
I don't know if I'm caught up actually.
That's okay.
But anyways, so the island just continues to grow because they just keep dumping trash on it.
Yeah.
One day they decided, hey, it's kind of hard to get to this
That's
island.
what we're gonna do when LA gets sucked up by the ocean. By the way.
Like,
we're just gonna add a bunch of trash to it.
And then eventually it'll be back.
Yeah, it's a lot like those videos where people fix like bowls with ramen noodles. Have you seen those?
That's a thing?
Have you not seen that?
No, what is that?
Dude, look up ramen noodle repair. I'm serious. Because like you'll take the dry ramen noodles and then you'll crush it up into like some powder or whatever. And then you have to say it like that too. You gotta crush it up. But then like literally like if this mug was broken, so like let's say it had a chip out of it, you could like put the ramen noodles here and then sand it down and then paint over it and literally you can't tell. It's insane. Like I've seen people have done full sinks where the sink is broken and then they've fixed the sink with ramen noodles and they put a sealant over it so it's not gonna the moisture's not gonna get in there and it's just gonna stay like that. I'm not kidding. So when LA gets sucked up by the ocean, it's not going to be an expensive fix because ramen noodles are cheap.
They're cheap.
Yep, you just
pour a
build
bunch
a
of
new
ramen.
Build a new pier.
Build a nude pier. Nude pier?
What? Nude
a
pier?
A pier out of noodles. A nude pier.
Oh, I'm glad that's what you were saying. Because I was like, why are we changing the rules? It's a new society.
And in honor of our pier being built out of noodles, you're not allowed to be nude here.
And we call each other the Noodles.
The Noodles.
Oh, no, I don't like that. Oh, just thought of that. I don't like that at all.
So anyways,
oh, man.
They realized pretty quickly that getting to Black Tom Island to dump all their trash was pretty inconvenient because, it's an island.
So they started building a trash bridge.
Yeah, they did.
Did they really?
Yeah, they built a little causeway to connect it. I don't think it was built out of trash.
No, they built a bridge, though.
Yeah, they built it. Well, it was like when you I'm forgetting the word, when like you build a bunch of rocks in the water and then like you build a bridge on top of that. So it's like you're not a bridge, but it's on land that you like artificial land that you made a bridge out of.
So like in Roller Coaster Tycoon where you use the ground raising tool to raise the ground above the water.
Same. That's what they did.
Got it.
They did.
But they built it out of rock, not trash.
I'm not actually positive.
Cool.
Nothing I can find could specify. I researched day and night trying to figure out
what material they
Black
use.
Tom Island Bridge, trash or not?
So let me get this straight: is that you researched day and night on the material that they used to build this thing that you still, in your day and night research, didn't find a name for.
Still not sure what's
all
called.
the articles just refer to it as land bridge.
Yeah. Yep. It's an unnatural natural bridge, if you will.
Okay. I won't. Keep going.
And so they connected it to like the mainland Jersey City. Well, when that happened, they were like, well, now we can maybe use this trash island for things. And
Like
so
what? Like, okay.
So they built a munitions depot on top of Trash Island. Sorry, Black Tom Island. They built this giant munitions depot.
We're just going to call it Trash
Island. Trash Island. The Trash Island explosion. So this island is situated right in the middle of the New York Harbor. And so ships are traveling in and out all the time. They figured great place to put a munitions depot. They built it on there, built a dock, and then it became a place where they stored and like manufactured a ton of ammunition for the American military.
Okay.
Yeah, and then
So this is bigger than I'm thinking of it as. Then
yeah, it grew at the point of Black Tom explosion. I think they still were putting trash there to expand the island, but they pull up at the point of the explosion. The island covered 20 acres.
Okay. Jeez. Okay.
Yeah, so it was a decent sized trash pile.
Trash.
If you look it up, they've built it to where it's not an island anymore. It's just connected with the mainland at this point.
Oh,
that's
the
how
only
much
thing that's
trash
coming
they
up to
put on
me
it.
is the garbage island in the Great Pacific. So
Fair.
this is called Black. I don't want to like Black Tom.
If you look it up right now, you're not gonna like. Are you trying to look at it on satellite or something? What are you doing?
No. I know that it's probably gone from some explosion. I'm trying to find. I guess I'm having trouble picturing what an island made of garbage looks like.
You're just googling someone who made an artist rendering of it, like think about a landfill. Like a landfill, eventually just looks like dirt because they put dirt on top of it.
Did they put dirt on top of this?
I'm sure they did because they built on top of it. They had to do something.
That's what I'm saying. I guess
they didn't just like
I guess
put
I don't
it on
understand.
top of everyone's old receipts.
I guess that's what I'm having trouble with is like going like
this was not built on like a bunch of plastic cups. Like this was like they put dirt on it.
This is a ton.
They put some dirt on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and and this kind of honestly, well, let's hear the rest of the story first. But I'm saying I feel like this does confirm a story in the Bible where whatever your foundation is built on. And if you build a foundation
never,
on trash,
no, but so
the wise man builds it on rock, but the fool builds it on half-eaten pizzas.
fair. So they built up this munitions depot.
Got it. Okay.
One way in, one way out. The causeway, right? One way in, one way out.
Disaster waiting to happen.
Exactly right.
Like if I was watching Stranger Things,
yes,
and they were on an island with one way in and one way out, I'd be like,
built out of
something's
trash.
about to go down.
So they and in the early 1900s, like 1915, 1916, if you know a lot about history, you might know that President Woodrow Wilson really didn't want to be in World War I. Like he was like,
sure,
that's something I don't want to be about. Like I'm not into that. And that sounds bad. And so he had like very publicly been like, we're not joining the war. We're not getting involved in that.
Yeah, I don't want to do it.
And everybody in America was cool with that because they were like, that means I don't have to go to war. And most people are like, I don't want to go to war. But because they were neutral in the war, that meant they were allowed to sell ammunition to whichever side they wanted.
Yeah.
Any country they wanted. They didn't have to pick a side and sell ammunition to different people. And so that's
why they didn't actually want to get in the war.
Yeah, they were making money off the ammo.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. So they were selling ammunition to the Allies in the war because they were allies with them. It's in the name.
Yeah.
And so they were selling ammunition to the Allies. And that ammunition came out of the ammunition depot on Black Tom Island.
Okay.
So that's a little bit of backstory about what is going on.
Ammunition explode. Got it. I see how it's going to happen now.
You see how it's going to happen?
Yeah,
I don't think you do.
I guess I'm not. I was going to say unless I guess I'm not.
I don't think you do. So on July 30th, 1916.
Black Tom Friday.
Black Tom Friday. Was it a Friday? What
Dude,
this is
if it
what we got the name
was,
for Black Friday?
that'd be pretty crazy.
July 30, 1960 day. It was a Saturday.
Oh!
So close. Oh, wait. Hold on. It searched 1960, not 1916. My type to text wasn't clear. It didn't hear what I was
My
typing.
fingers.
It was a...
Well, hold on. Actually, just keep going. I got a better idea.
What?
I'm just going to open the calendar app, and I'm going to keep scrolling all the way down until I find it.
1960.
Yeah.
How far back does the calendar app go?
Dude, it's just computer generated, so it literally goes as far as you want.
I don't know about that.
I do. You keep going.
There's a dayoftheweek.org. It was a Sunday.
Well, I'm going to confirm.
Yeah, it was a Sunday, which in Spanish is domingo. That's what this website thought was also an important thing to include after telling me whatever. I hate you. Anyways,
Only
so
102 years left. Was it a leap year?
So, on the island, there were a few railroad guards that would stay on the island, and then there was a few hired guards that would be on the island. Other than that, there wasn't a ton of security.
Did you say railroad guards?
Yeah.
So they
There was
built like a train all
There
the
was
way
a
out there.
railroad that went through it too, but it went down
Wow.
right down that causeway. And so
Land bridge.
land bridge, sorry, trash bridge.
Trash pass, if you
Trash-
will. The trash pass.
Yeah, you're gonna want to get off the 5, jump on the trash pass, and you'll be downtown LA.
All right, well, that's the wrong coast, brother, but that's all right.
What? The trash pass? Trash pass goes across the states. It's like
got
Route 66, but with trash. So Route 66.
Yeah, I was going to say, we were in Springfield for a while.
But anyways, so these security guards were there one night, and there was a pretty strict no fire rule, which is understandable because the building
Ammunition.
is literally, or the ammunition depot is built literally on top of garbage, and what they're storing there is explosives.
Yeah.
So
It
it makes sense to be like, let's probably not put fire on this island.
Right, so they couldn't smoke.
They couldn't smoke. They couldn't do anything like that. Well, the guards, one night, there was a specifically large amount of mosquitoes on the island. And I love this.
This is how it starts.
There was a lot of mosquitoes. Yeah, the mosquitoes are at fault here. So there's a lot of mosquitoes on the island. So the guards were like, man, we've got to get ourselves some relief from these mosquitoes. They're like, we've heard about this thing called West Nile. Nobody heard about it until like 100 years later. But they were like, we gotta do something about this. So they started these little mosquito lamps, the little fire burning lamps that keep mosquitoes away. So they started a couple of those, and then they realized pretty
I
quickly
forget
they
what
were
they're
like
called. It's like, it starts with a C. But anyway.
mosquito lamps.
Yeah. I was thinking Cosquito lamps. Sorry. Cosquito clamps.
Tostinos. So they were sitting there and they were like, "Ooh, fire on this island is probably a bad idea." So they were like, "We should probably leave." And so they left. They left these
What?
fires.
They were like, fire's not a good idea. Here's my 2 options. I can either put out this candle, or I can peace
I
out.
can leave. So they left, and then they called the fire department, and then fire department.
Okay, wait. Okay, so you're saying that they lit these little candles,
Yeah.
and then they were like, to put out this small flame, we're going to call 911.
Yeah.
And they're busy at that time, dude.
It's the middle of the night.
Yeah, well, what year was it?
1916.
1916? The fire department was busy then.
How big? What?
I mean,
What makes
1916 was the year of the fire.
Okay, whatever.
Well, we learned about it in that Lost episode.
You're right. We did learn about the year of the fire.
We have a Lost episode where we tried to film an episode, and then we have footage for it, but we don't have sound. But it's somewhere out there.
It's somewhere out there. It's the lost episode. Anyways, so they called the fire department, and the fire department shows up, and they're like, "This is dangerous. We're not dealing with this," and they just left. They're
What?
like,
Even the fire department?
Yeah, they're like, "Yeah, this is too dangerous. We need to just get away." And so then the fire started to spread and started to just catch this munitions depot on fire.
Okay. So they had to have, like, the security guards had to have, like, let the candle fall or something and started a small fire already.
No, they had the fire out there.
They just had, like, a candle.
Yeah. Well, I mean, whatever those things are called that burn the...
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm saying,
Yeah,
like, it's a single flame.
there.
It's not... I mean, I guess it all is a single flame. But, I mean, like, it's not a...
I mean, all it takes is a small spark to ignite a huge fire.
Sure. But I'm saying that they didn't knock it over. There was no threat for them to just peace out and call
Maybe
it.
this is they lit the candles and we're just like, work on. This is dangerous. And the fire
It
department
sounds like they were trying to get out of work. It sounds like they were like, I don't want to be here tonight either. How about
what if we say there's a bunch of mosquitoes,
Just
and
light
then
a candle.
catch something on fire?
and then call the fire department?
Yeah, and then we're done.
So the fire department shows up. They're like, nah, and
Nah.
then the fire starts.
Well, yeah. So here's why. Because there was an estimated 2 million pounds of small arms and artillery ammunition at the munitions depot. There was also Johnson's barge number 17 was docked at the munitions depot pier, and that had 100,000 pounds of TNT on board. And
Yikes.
so they were like, yeah, probably best not to be anywhere near what's happening here right now.
So they just decided they were like, we're gonna let it happen.
Yeah. So at 2:08 they got there, and then wait.
2:08 a.m.
At 2:08 a.m. was when the first explosion happened. So the fire started, fire spread, and then
Explosion.
It was the first, and it was the largest explosion that took place. And then there was a second at 2:40 a.m. And so the first major explosion was right by Johnson barge number 17, the one with 100,000 pounds of TNT. Right. And so the explosion was so big, so massive that it was felt as far away as Philadelphia. Like, people felt it.
Oh, wow.
Estimations, it wasn't around back then, but estimations would say that on the Richter scale, it would have registered as like a 5.8.
Did you say estimations?
Yeah.
You said it twice.
I said, yeah.
Estimations?
Yeah. If you're going to estimate something, you're making an estimation.
An estimate?
Estimation?
Estimates?
Estimation's a thing.
Estimates say estimation?
What are you doing? You're just searching something else now.
Estimate?
No. I mean, that's what it is. But if you're estimating, you're making an estimation.
We're saying the word so much that it doesn't even sound like a real word anymore. But estimation, estimates say... I don't understand.
I don't understand what you don't understand.
I don't understand why you're saying estimations.
Because some people made estimations, and those estimations say that on the Richter scale... Shut up. Whatever. Okay. It doesn't... All right. This is frustrating the crap out of me.
Well, it's like... Never mind. Okay, go ahead.
So there's a bunch of people think that...
A few estimations.
Shut up.
You were trying to figure out a different way to say it, too. Like, there's a bunch of people who think...
Yeah. Who said that it will rate as like a 5.8 on the Richter scale.
Oh, okay.
The explosion. And it is the largest on record non-nuclear explosion to ever happen. Like, on record.
Oh, wow.
It was just this giant explosion because 100,000 pounds of TNT, what did I say, 2 million pounds of small arms there, like, just all of it just blew up together. And so it was like a big explosion. And it was so devastating. Like, it crushed like half the warehouses in the New York pier. Like, they all just like collapsed.
Yeah.
And so like widespread damage all the way across Manhattan. Windows were shattered all across Manhattan. Like, historic like stained glass windows were shattered in it. There was hundreds of people who were injured by the explosion.
I was going to make fun of the way you said hundreds, and then you finished your sentence with people who were injured, and I was like, oh. I felt bad. How many people died?
That's where things are a little fuzzy. Some
Okay.
people say 7, some people say 4, some people say countless. I've seen 9 out there also.
Those are a lot of estimations.
There's a lot of gray area in what happened here.
Okay.
And we'll get to that in a second because something
sketchy
weird happened after this.
Yeah.
But so it was a giant explosion. Like, to be felt from that far away, people as far away as Maryland woke up from their sleep. Like, it woke them up in the middle of the
did you
night.
watch Chernobyl on Netflix?
I haven't watched it yet. I plan on it. I know what happened in Chernobyl.
Right. But I liked the way they showed the explosion. It's the first scene in the whole show.
Yeah.
But like she gets up and gets a glass of water in the middle of the night, and you see it light up in the distance, and then it's like a few seconds, and then their whole house just shakes.
Yeah,
because it's like the shock wave came across. Yeah. So of course that happened.
Yeah, but people really far away were feeling it, and it was obviously breaking windows and stuff all through Manhattan.
In Missouri
in 1916.
Yeah.
All right, whatever, dude. What day was it?
Well, it was a Sunday. Technically, it was Saturday night,
Fair.
Right.
Fair.
Almost a Friday. I call it Black Tom Friday.
But yeah, property damage.
Is that why they call fireworks Tomcats? This is real. This is a genuine question.
Maybe Black Cats?
Black Cats, that's what I meant.
Could be.
Because they were like, hey, what was that island that blew up and killed countless people?
Pretty sure it was 7, but I'm pretty sure it was Black Cat Island.
Well, we have different estimations, so...
I don't understand what your problem is with that word.
I don't either.
It's a real word.
Okay, dynamic duo. Estimation or estimate? Which one are you?
Definitely estimation. Gosh dang it. But the damage
Total.
in 1916 totaled $20 million. Today, that would be equivalent to about $460 million.
Yeah.
Dollars in damages from this explosion.
Insane.
So just like giant explosion in the middle of the night. Lots of people injured. Countless people died.
4 to 7 to countless.
Yeah, it left a 375 by 175 foot crater in the ground.
Okay.
Like just this giant crater in Trash Island. And like so
There's a hole in Trash Island.
And it also damaged the Statue of Liberty. It caused $100,000 worth of damage to the Statue of Liberty.
Really?
Which today would be about like
Her arm
$2.4
fell
million.
off.
Actually, it was her arm.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it kind of damaged her skirt.
So now,
not
these
terribly.
days, when you look at the Statue of Liberty, she's only got 4 fingers on one of her hands.
No, what happened was her arm was damaged, and it was damaged so badly that I don't know if you know this, but it's possible to get into the torch of the Statue of Liberty. There's like a viewing port in it, and there's a staircase from the arm to the torch. But that damaged the arm so bad, the explosion, that you're not allowed into that stairwell anymore, so you can't get to torch. So torch has been closed since 1916.
Since this explosion?
Yeah, since
No
this explosion.
way.
It's the only serious damage the Statue of Liberty has ever taken was from this explosion. Nothing else. Like it's sustained countless lightning strikes. It's been like, I mean, obviously other things have hit. Like there's been hurricanes. There's other things that could have damaged it, but this is the only serious damage the Statue of Liberty has ever sustained. It's from the Black Tom explosion, which is crazy because most people have never heard of the Black Tom explosion.
Yeah,
Like,
I
when
did not
found
even
out
know
about it,
you
I was
could
like,
get to the
does this
torch.
exist? Yeah. And so it was a thing that you could actually get into the torch.
Why have they not fixed that yet?
Well, I don't know. There was like in the 70s, it shut down for a while so they could do repairs, but they still don't let you up in it. So I don't know why. I don't understand.
I did not know that. That's incredible. Okay.
Yeah. So very interesting little sidebar. You know, this is off track a little bit, but it's
So it broke
sort of
her
on track.
bones.
Huh?
It broke her.
It broke her.
Broke her. Well, I mean, I guess that's a
Stairwell
stairwell bones.
Stair.
Get well, stairwell. Say what you're gonna say. Save this conversation.
Have you heard of a Mandela effect?
I wanted to go into another what do we call that? Inception. But I've heard of this. Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, for those of our listeners who don't know what a Mandela effect is, it's this weird conspiracy thing. We won't get too deep into it. Basically, the idea is about Nelson Mandela because a lot of people remember him dying in like the 90s when we found out recently that. Or wait, what is it? The reverse?
They remember him dying in prison.
Yeah.
And then other people remember him being
released and then dying later.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Same with the Berenstein Bears. They remember it being spelled different.
Yeah. So like little things like that.
Yeah.
Where people and the conspiracy is that it's
they're like
they swear.
Convinced. I remember that. Yeah. And a ton of people.
Yeah. And so the concept of the Mandela effect is that there's like alternate universes that are like kind of crossing paths.
Right.
Is what's happening there. Well, there's a Mandela effect that relates to this explosion.
Okay.
Because there's people who claim, like people who are alive today, that claim that they've been in the torch of the Statue of Liberty, but and like
they say
like it's been close since 1916. So no, like, I mean, I guess theoretically there could be someone alive today who went up in it.
Well, there's also people who claim to listen to my podcast, but I died in 2011, so.
And like, there's people who say they've got pictures up there that they've taken up there, and so like, there's people who are pretty positive that they've been up there.
I feel like if you got pictures, prove it.
It's fair. That's fair. Here's the issue.
Hold on.
Ever since I'm
adding it to my to-do list to Photoshop me.
I know. I was gonna say. I was like,
obviously.
ever since you got good at Photoshop, I don't trust any picture because I've seen the stuff you've done, and I'm like, nothing's real. Nothing is real.
Thank you. That's the nicest thing you ever said to me.
Yeah. Anyways, so that
nothing's real. Your life's a lie.
Nothing's real. Your life's a lie.
I've been lying to you a lot.
But here's the thing. It's kind of interesting to think about because the Black Tom explosion is something that none of us were ever taught. If it didn't happen, but all of a sudden we got Mandela affected and then it did happen, it explains why we didn't learn about it. We'll have to see if our kids learn about it in school.
Are you suggesting that our... Hold on, what?
I'm suggesting that we grew up in a different universe where Black Tom explosion didn't happen.
Okay, I guess I'm just confused on like how we switch universes.
I don't really know either.
Is there an age that you switch universe? Dude, we can do a whole podcast on it.
Anyways, that's not important.
I don't feel secure about anything in my life anymore.
Do
You go home, there's a different woman there. She's like, hey, honey. And you're like, where is Brie? Like,
have you been in the torch?
Have you been Yes.
Oh, God.
Okay.
It's all fake. No, but anyways, so here's where this story, off the Mandela effect, here's where the story gets more interesting. So the explosion happened, blah, 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 blah. The next day, everybody's freaking out, like, understandably so.
Right.
News articles come out about it. And the first set of news articles that come out about it are claiming that this was done by the Germans.
Yeah, because the war's happening. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so there's a pretty convincing argument that it was an immigrant to the U.S. He was from Czechoslovakia, and his name was Michael Kristoff. He served in the United States Army, but he was like known to have worked for German agents.
Yeah.
And he did work for them like contract work for German agents in the U.S. And there had been a series of German attacks on U.S. ammunition depots where like...
What did you just say?
German attacks on U.S. ammunition depots.
Okay. I thought you said ammunition-y. I was like...
Ammunites?
We are making up
words.
Is
it ammunites or ammunition?
It's ammunites. Yeah.
Anyways. And because, and what everybody thought was because it was, we're supplying the Allies and they're
right. So now they're ticked.
They're taking out their source, basically.
Yeah. Which would make sense. Makes a lot more sense than security guards being like, ooh, can't. That sounds like a cover up to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And so these articles come out later in the afternoon. New news articles come out stating that it was the candle thing that happened and tipped over. So
I don't know, dude.
So what people think is that that what happened with the mosquitoes, it was Woodrow Wilson was like, I don't want to get in the war. Don't let them know this was the Germans.
That's a cover up for sure.
And so And that's why a lot of historians will tell you
Woodrow
that
Wilson's
we're not taught about it.
nobody's going to war and no one's going to the torch. Okay, cut it off. We're done.
Torch is gone. War's gone. We're good. Yeah. And so that's why a lot of historians will tell you that we don't learn about it in history class because they chalked it up to an accident, and so there's nothing interesting there. But really, all signs point to it being one of the first steps toward us entering World War I.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you said that, that's what I was like trying to figure. I was like, they just left candles.
Yeah. And so after that, everything changed. Here's what's really interesting. After that, everything changed because before 1916, like ammunition depots and things like that, like not military bases, but things that they served military purpose, but they weren't strictly military bases, had very loose security. The Trash Island had no lights anywhere on the island.
Makes sense.
So you couldn't see anything. They had one bridge that went into the island with no gate, no checkpoint, nothing that like checked to see who you were. And they had 4 railroad detectives who were not like even a part of the ammunition depot, and then 2 hired security guards on the island to watch over. 2 Paul Blarts. Yeah, 2 Paul Blarts to walk over to guard $22 million worth of military ammunition. Like $22 million at 1916. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Yeah. And so it's like, well, yeah, that'd be really easy if you were a guy who like served in the military and was like a German saboteur.
It'd be really
to like sneak
easy
in there and just plant a couple bombs and just get out.
It'd be really easy if you were a group of high school kids
I know
who played the army game a lot and had your own fake language. That would be very easy to sneak into.
We didn't have a fake language.
It was
the way the Marines speak. It was documented.
According to that John Cena movie I watched.
That's a joke you'd only get if you watched the show.
That was a visual joke.
That was a visual joke, so plug for video. Anyways, so after 1916, ammunition depots across the country started having security measures added. There were watchtowers, more guards, entrances added, like checkpoint entrances added.
Yeah, and if this is the fault of 2 guards, 1 mosquitoes, why would you go, you know what? 2 guys messed this up. You know what will keep it from messing up? 15 guys.
We had 15 guys, a lot more guards.
This is a cover-up.
100% a cover-up. And what's really interesting about it is this it's the largest explosion on record, non-nuclear explosion on record.
Yeah.
And so this honestly would count, like, even though there was only 4 or 7 or countless deaths, there's hundreds of people who are injured, even though they didn't die. Like, the explosion and the amount of damage to property make it one of the largest attacks on American soil. But because
people went to war,
like, we don't learn about it. No American knows about it. Like, it's something that is just all but pretty much forgotten. But it was like one of the biggest things that happened on American soil. Isn't that crazy?
Dude.
Really interesting.
What? Okay. So
it also didn't happen in our universe. It happened in a different one.
thought you were literally about to just say, it also didn't happen. Made this whole episode up.
Also, none of this is true. Made the entire thing up. Trash Island? You believe we built an island out of trash?
Like, you were with me on that? Okay. That's why you can't Google it. That's why you can't find any pictures,
don't
you
Google
idiot.
this. It's not real.
Yeah. That's what you're like, wait, are you Google imaging this? What are you doing? Yeah.
Nope. Yeah, it's real. There's a memorial to it on where the island used to stand today. The island has since they've added this big artificial island, like they've built onto it to make it, and now it's a park. And then on the edge where the explosion would have happened, there's a big memorial with all the American flags, and then Statue of Liberty right in view where the shrapnel would have gone and busted that arm.
Wow.
Pretty wild. And it's crazy, like, looking at the footage from the damages, like, it is like.
Do we think the torch from the Statue of Liberty started the fire, or?
You might be right.
It's a big cover up.
It's pretty wild. There's not a lot of pictures because it was like 1916, so cameras weren't super popular. But like, things were like pretty flattened. Like,
yeah.
If you look at this, it's kind of tough to make out what's going on there. But like, a lot of damage. A lot of damage. millions of dollars worth of damage in here. I zoomed in a lot so you could see it better. So you just pinch finger that.
Interesting.
Not wild.
Wow. So, oh man, I don't trust our government.
It's fair.
Jeez. Is there anything else on it?
Nope, that's the Black Tom explosion.
Black Tom explosion. Cover up.
Trash Island explosion.
Trash Island. I'm trying to think of other things. Taking out the trash.
Take it out. Someone in Germany told that guy to take out the trash.
Trash Island. More like Ash Island, right, guys? So what was your joke?
Some guy in Germany told this guy to take out the trash, and he
was
like, "Oh."
He's like, I know exactly what you mean. They were like, then the next day they're like, you did what?
They're like, hold on, what did you do? The trash.
We did not want. Like they're what are you doing? We did not want to get in war with America. Woodrow, has made it very clear.
He's been very clear.
Yeah. Do you think he went by Woody?
Yeah.
He just went like.
But here's what's interesting. So it was documented that the Germans had done this to a few other ammunition depots. Nothing as big as this.
This is
this one
100% a cover-up thing.
Not too long after this, they sunk a ship, and then in 1918, it was another ship that they sunk, that the Germans sunk, that caused us to join the war.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. I do like the idea that someone was like, hey, can you take out the trash? And there was like some war-hungry general who was like, yeah.
Yes,
and then he's preparing for weeks, He's like memorizing the patterns of the 2 security guards. He's just like, I got this. He's sitting there.
He trained some mosquitoes to fly around him and bother them.
He let him. He's like, fly high, He's like for weeks going on runs every morning, running up the steps, And then instead of the Rocky music, he's listening to fiddle music in his ears. See how I did it that time? That was good.
Are you going to say fiddle off, or are you just going to...
You just did. I was trying to bait you into it. He's like, I'm going to take the trash, and then right before he hit the detonator, he's like, fiddle off. Or however Germans sound. Just plunged it.
Oh, gosh.
That's good.
That's good.
Uncle Joey or Uncle Jesse?
Oh, God.
I feel like I'm Uncle Jesse. Just because I'm cooler.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I feel like you're definitely... Okay, I didn't mean that in a way.
No, you're not wrong. Because,
the only thing
I like to tell myself that I'm cool. Yeah, but not very many people tell me that.
Definitely an Uncle Joey thing, for sure.
Yeah.
Uncle Jesse knows that his sideburns are even. Like, he's a little fixated with his appearance.
Yeah.
And
Are
clearly you don't care.